Hi, Affinity. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to come back to you again with these hot topics that we keep having a mentor that keeps answering for us. I'm very excited because just like we had from the previous one, we are still tackling the topic from our first pillar, your love. And at this time, if you remember, we were always trying to tame. We learned that actually our mothers and parents and teachers should actually learn and understand that love is a natural feeling that comes from God. Please stop beating your children, stop beating us, help us navigate and learn to tame it. I am so excited today because we are continuing the topic, and at this time, if you're like me who thought and thinks that now because you have money and you're no longer broke that now you're ready, please stay tuned, because right now in studio we have a man who just doesn't talk about love but actually knows what he is talking about. When he opens his mouth and begins to give you matter, he actually knows and has experienced what he is talking about. With me in studio is Dita Stashoya, a relationship mentor and expert, and we're very excited because today I am bringing the question, after experiencing my first love and telling me to tame it, when is the right time? When do I know that now is the time to open the door and awake the love and allow it to how did you call it? Allow it to
be stirred. Stir the love.
Yeah, because actually me I thought now catching intelligence or I can let love. So this time I'm interested. When, especially for you, did you know this is the time, this is when I should actually, I am ready?
When should we unleash this whole thing? And hello, our viewers. I greet you and welcome you back to Affinity, the Love Lounge. It's meza chomukwano for our people, you know. For our people, those who are not here, just take the Love Lounge, those who don't come from our country, but we enjoy our language. But you're asking me, first tell me your own stories. Yvonne, when was your first time, or how did you know that it was okay to unleash? Because I see you look like you unleashed. You told us your life, you introduced yourself and you look like you unleashed. How did you know that now you are ready? At what point? Even you, this one asking me, for you, when did you know that?
So I think the time I knew I was ready to unleash, and I think it was the wrong one, because natomera. Because me, I thought I was ready to unleash because I'd finished high school. I'm going to campus.
Yes.
I'm a campuser. Guys, I thought I was now ready to unleash, love someone's son. Why not? So that's when I thought I was ready. I didn't want to know over what? Over finance, over money.
Yes.
I was ready to now be a lover girl. That's when I thought I was ready. And then at that time I was single and searching. So my antennas were out there.
You know those introductions. My name is Status.
I'm single
and searching.
So I was in campus, and as from a single-sex school, I'd never been in close proximity with men or boys. And then you're in campus, you see this one, you're in hostel, you're seeing this one who is looking like, Jesus. Husband. And me, in the back of my mind, everything was husband.
Okay.
You look, you're like, okay. So there's this specific gentleman I really, really liked. Like, his intelligence was up there. Everything was up there. Like, he was smart. He was a lawyer.
Take notes of what is looked out for.
And me, when I was still, one of my priorities was a man who puts on specs. No wonder I got married to one. See how petty things can be.
What it says is I need to bring my specs.
So I was looking out for it, and he used to wear specs. He was intelligent. He was a lawyer, you know. And you're thinking, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to know each other a little bit more, and then I realized we were talking. He was talking A, I was talking Z, and I think the by that time his mother was my friend. That was what was the spice up, and then his mother was my friend, and I felt like I was married, as more inclined to him because of his mother.
Yeah.
And then I realized, but now at the end of the day, it's both of us. His mother will not be in our house. So what's going to happen? Because much as what drew me to him was he looked like he was accomplished, but now I felt like, you know, father daughter, like he spoke as, you're my child, so I am giving you this, you know. And then his mother got me more, so I felt like, oh, I'm misaligned. And then I felt like, okay, now me as Yvonne, what do I want? Is this what I want? And then I had so many confusions. I didn't know what I want. I didn't know, okay, I'm getting into this relationship. What is the purpose? And then I felt like, Yvonne, at the end of the day, we just kind of, you know how they say, grow apart. And none of us was ready to put in the work.
Yes.
So we just said, stay in your campus, I stay in mine, and life moves on.
So you grew out of each other.
We grew out of each other, you know, where you talk every day, now it becomes once a week. And then it becomes once in 2 weeks. And then somehow you hear there's another girl. And also you this side, you've now found another someone who is now modeling the shape that you want.
Wow. So for me, I actually realized first that I wasn't ready when I was in a relationship. Because we quite dated for my high school girlfriend, quote unquote, my prayer partner then. We had dated, I think, for like 7 years.
I remember that story.
We had dated like for 7 years. She kept me grounded. But every time she would literally talk about marriage, me, I wouldn't understand what she's talking about. Not that I didn't like her. I liked her, but when it came to, okay, now when are we getting married? I knew I love her. We shall get married, but I didn't know when. I don't know, something in me kept showing me, not yet. I used to use a line, because I knew the issue wasn't the wedding. The issue was the marriage. I could afford, with the help of all the people that support you in a wedding, we could afford the wedding, but I could not afford the marriage. I was still staying at my parents' home. Long story short, eventually I think time was a bit going for my better half then. Then she got married. It was like I had never been single in my life. But thank God there were new things I had learned. I kind of had direction of where I was going. How I knew that now it is time for me to unleash. I wake up one morning, and there is a certain feeling that started being in me that I can't be alone.
It feeling.
It would disturb me. I didn't know how to exactly explain it.
And it's different from the one we talked last time of the love.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now this feeling was like, I need a companion. I would come back home. My house would be literally a mess. I'm a filmmaker, so you would find equipment everywhere that I keep convincing myself I will arrange and remove. I had girls around me. They would help me, wash for me, but there was nothing like committing. So one time I just wake up and the burden is strong. I want a companion.
Okay.
And this feeling for me was really different, because now I wasn't just feeling I want to love. I just felt I need help. I need someone to come back and actually rest with. It was just disturbing. To make it fun, I even talked to my mom. I told her, mom, obwomu bunuma. As a man, that was the first time I actually make this statement, obwomu bunuma.
What is
loneliness, aloneness.
Okay.
Aloneness. And I know some of you could be there confusing your Tuesday evenings alone to being ready. Please, there was this feeling that made me realize.
Hudson, was it because you needed someone to clean up the mess?
Like I said, I had friends who would clean up the mess willingly without coercion. And I had multiple of them. Today it would be this one, tomorrow it would be another one. Today, and it was okay and cool for me because I would be hungry and had someone I could call to visit me. And actually, if I want a prepared meal, they were happy to do it. But the actual...
Wasn't the other one?
It wasn't. The actual demand. The actual demand to actually need now. I felt I need to start someone I will unleash and open and make them official. That they actually understand that now is time for us to marry. But I didn't have that one person. I had a list of them.
Wow.
I had a list of them, but I knew I wanted someone.
Wow. Wow.
So I really knew. That's how for me, I actually now knew that I wanted someone until I found the one I settled with eventually.
Did you unleash?
I unleashed.
I can shock you guys. I can shock you, and you could even, and I know when I say this, especially ladies out there, they're going to throw stones at me. But I just ask you to be kind. I'm also a work in progress. We are doing life. We are learning life. You won't believe that I can confidently tell you that I realized that I was ready to love or to unleash, or I understood this whole thing already in the marriage. I was already in the marriage. So my story is quite interesting. Do you remember the story I told you about my love story and how my first experience to love? Okay, if you remember, the one who made me burn my shirt, and how that I committed my heart and my mind to her. That thing kept me. I don't know whether God used it, but something, for me, my primal taming came from there. I felt anytime a girl was getting around, I felt I'm cheating someone who didn't even know. As just being loyal to them, but they didn't know how committed I was to them. We were tight friends. She knew me as a good friend, but a brother, she had no idea. Maybe if she did, but I doubt she had an idea that I had a committed agenda. But because of mentors in my life, I wanted it to happen when the mentors defined ready. Mentors used to put it around when you're done with university, things like that. So I was waiting for them to be able to unleash. So I protected myself. Now, as I told you one day, she's at university, and I had begun to think it's time for me to launch my move. I feel I'm ready. As in my third year, about to finish, I think something there. And she was in her second year, I believe. And I'm thinking, and we're also in different universities, I'm thinking I need to unleash. I'm ready to go. Fast forward, on one of those days, I learned she was in a relationship. It was heart-splitting, piercing. You've seen that cutting of love with an arrow cutting through it? Like it cut through me.
Yeah.
I traveled. I was studying in Mbara. She was studying in Kampala. I came to Kampala. It was in the night. I reached her university. I sat, they had like a fellowship room. I asked her to come and find me there. I didn't know what to tell her. One of the indicators I was not ready was that day. I dishonored her. I would speak confusing things. Number one, I would say, because for her, she told me, I think it was Joy, like her friend, the brother she's worked with all these years. She told me, by the way, I found... She actually, she passed by me at some point in Barra with the guy, and the guy was driving.
She friend zoned you.
And told me about this love of her life that has come into her life. Nemuteleka. And I waited when I came to know. So I broke down, and I had also been mentored to know that you don't break a relationship. When you enter a relationship, you stay in until you're married. Like I was taught not to play with girls. Don't play with girls. Don't play with their minds. The day you tell a girl, it's like a marriage. You commit until you marry. Something I don't believe in. People should not. Yeah. So I come and I unleash my confusing emotions. And I'm confusing her right there. And she's like, but you've never come out. I have no idea. Then she actually, I think in that moment, I don't know whether I confused her, maybe she got to think, by the way, I could maybe have considered this guy. We've had good friendship, she's good. But she's like, you never. Then she says something that makes me realize later that I was so young, immature. She tells me, but I hope we can still be friends. And me, I felt she was offending me. She was using me. How dare you? I be your friend, like
you
how?
already in the relationship.
Like how? They've taken you, like how? So I remember I cried because at some point
in front of her?
Yeah,
shame
at some
upon
point
you.
shame upon me. You see the people killing our boys.
Big boy, don't cry.
You see the people killing our boys. Mama, my boys, it's okay to cry. We'll talk these things. So I remember at some point she's like, I need to go to hostel. They would close our hostel at some point, you know. My father has raised me to be a gentleman. There are traits in me, even in my weaknesses, that don't go away. So I had to escort her. She didn't have to ask. Even by the roadside, I had to hold her hand so that we cross well. Then I escorted her to her hostel. When we reached the event closed, I remember standing at the pillar of the hostel. I tell her, I'm gone, leave me alone. I even remember I was dressed as in a blue suit, you know. I go stand like on the pillar of the hostel, and I'm crying, and she's on the other one, and she's looking at me this way. Like I think she was saying, I have no idea. And I'm going but not going. But literally, the disrespect was putting the blame on her, making her look wrong. I made her feel evil. I made her feel like she's a betrayer. Like I'm blaming her for what should have been my responsibility. Then I walked away. Now, from that day, I entered my worst days. But also life is interesting that some of your worst days can form the best of you. From that day to years even into my marriage, I think I lost something. I don't know. Something in me was broken. I think I felt not good enough. I think I felt not wise enough. I was doing ministry. Now, usually people don't think that ministers can do this. I think because church, we hide a lot. We don't talk about these things. We want to appear the perfect ones. Because for me, I got born again young, 6 years. I began serving God early, as I think about 13 years, when I literally knew my life was in full-time ministry. And so I grew up in that kind of shield. So this time, by the time these experiences are happening, and what is funny with God is you can be gifted. So my gifts were up there. And so I was serving, but so much in gifts, not fully consecrated. So something in me loosed. I got a problem with identity, but I didn't fully know it. On the outside, my gifts were amazing. People who were with me at university and were around Christian spaces, my gifts were out there, okay? At least I was not one of those hidden Christians. My gifts were out there. I would stand up and demonstrate so much in God, miracles and things like that. And while in there, I had an identity issue. While I had something in me that guarded me from girls, from that day, when girls identified me, admired me, or saw something good in me, or seemed attracted. And you know, there's something in ladies that yields to gifts, that yields to power. When you stand out, there's a way you're charming to girls. And I think it's because naturally ladies are inclined to safe zones. They want safety. So anything that can make someone appear powerful, it makes them feel like that's a safe zone. Naturally, ladies want to be in safe zones. So you sometimes have some. I think as you had Hudson saying, I had many ladies around me. They would, they do this and that for me. Some of them are really naturally part of you because they want to learn. I mean, you're in business, you're in filmmaking. They see a young man who is industrious. It's a natural thing. They want to learn. They feel they can. You're safe. You know so much. And now, if you don't have a deep awareness of self as a young man, you can begin to misjudge these ladies. You can begin to say they like you, they are falling for you, they are trying to trap you, they are trying to entice you to themselves. Maybe there can be some who are like that, but I have carefully studied the behavior of a feminine nature. We also have those who are innocent. The last man who ever appeared mature, powerful, intelligent, a man that she has ever seen is her dad. She's not seen a man. And now she's seeing this young man, powerful, you're respected, you attract attention, you draw crowds. She didn't think even about it. She's drawn in. But it would never show on the outside that I have an identity crisis. How would you know that I had an identity crisis? Even so, it was not clear to me. And that's a trap that many times we easily get trapped in. You don't know that you have an identity crisis because people treat identity in some dimensions than others. For example, there are people who have stage frights, that if you ask someone to come here and talk, they collapse. They would never. They will shake, Or and people think that's the only place where you may define identity from. They don't know someone can appear so powerful, so confident, so courageous, but internally they really have a void of who they are. One of the ways to identify identity crisis is how much people show in areas of pride, in areas of fear, and in areas of self-confidence. When you are too cautious of self than something bigger, than a bigger purpose, you have an identity crisis. For example, if you always think everything is about you.
It's about you.
If you think this conversation is about you, if you think we are here to build your name, if you think we are here to praise you, if you think people gather because of you, like that mentality, you have an identity crisis. But in the same way, if you think that one small problem on you, like right now, if someone told me I was on the show and my button was not buttoned, then I die. You feel you want to die. That one affects my sisters a lot. Someone tells you you had water here. And you feel like you want to kill yourself, you can't come back on the show. What? Like
the next time I'm on the show, everyone will be laughing at
me.
After
the show, how did I do? Did I talk well? You have an identity crisis.
Really?
There's seeking feedback of how did it go. But the question is, what motivates that desire to know? If the desire to know is more of purpose, what you seek to achieve. For example, am I conscious of am I hurting people's feelings? Am I being irresponsible with my words? Am I not? Like, if you're seeking constructive feedback, that's okay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm conscious of the place of, like, you here now, you're the lady, let me use your example. If you left this program and you would be happy to know that everyone else was on you and you want to be sure they didn't put attention on us but you. That if you went to the comment section and found a lot of stuff about, oh Hudson, you're smart, oh Hudson, I like your hair, and then they come to date us, I like what you said, and no one is saying anything about you, and that offends you. You see, there's a place of, there's a place in you that needs to grow, that needs to be consecrated, because you are building on self. And yet self is not sufficient, friends, to make this life work. The world and its demands. When you bring someone else into your life, for example, you're most likely going to hurt them because of your identity crisis. For example, if they tell you, I waited for you and you never came and you never even communicated, you feel attacked. Just because you think everything runs around you. So now me, I had a problem of feeling insufficient, and I needed a lot of affirmation. And by the way, let me say this even for parents, and it awakened a wound that my mother had put in. I love my mother, but allow me be vulnerable. I grew up under a woman that had a strong iron hand, that I hated my home. I didn't love being home. At some point, my mother had to say, never call me mother again. Whenever my siblings hear me say that, they get mad. They feel, why do you expose our mother? Why do you make our mother feel like she was the bad parent? They tell me, overgrow that. I love mommy. You guys know that. But it's just that these stories, these experiences, it was my experience. I don't have any other. They didn't have it. It was my experience. They don't know what that meant. And it's not attacking my mother. Me and my mother went through this and we overcame. She knows it's important for people to know, to learn. It could help someone. So when I was young, I was overbeaten, as dealt with in a very tough way. And at a time when I was trying to understand life, and I would be shut down. So as I would say, as abused, when I later learned what abuse is, as abused as a child and by my own mother, someone who was meant to protect me. So that had been in there. So because actually my reason for loving God early, I ran to church seeking safety from home, from my mother. So home for me was not safe. The safe place was church. So I always found a reason not to be home. So church and serving God and these things and the period of glory had as if filled that place. But I didn't know it was unfilled until someone special. And I know she knows, but don't feel bad if you don't feel bad. I'm above all this. Until someone special who didn't know. And that's why I told you I was the problem. Because I didn't know I liked them. When they liked someone else, you know.
That's when it showed up.
Yeah. Now this whole wound opened again, and I felt and I've learned, let me even quote this, there are so many girls through ministry. I've found many girls, especially on the streets, our sisters who are doing prostitution. Okay, I found this a lot in Kenya. They always ended up on streets because of that problem. Some single thing that hurt them and attacked their self-worth. And they ended up losing that value. And they felt okay to let in anything, or whoever praises them means so much. So now in my giftings and in my all this, when I was praised, whoever praised me, I felt drawn to them. So before long, you have that, you're drawn to this one and the other one and the other one. And then I was naive. I never really had relationships were not exposed to me. I didn't understand relationships. But there are things I did and participated in with naivety. And I didn't know they were a problem. You know, they didn't know they were a problem. The first time I masturbated, for example, I did not know what I was doing. I had never heard about it. I never read about it. I didn't know this was happening. And then I was there masturbating. And I didn't know what it was. But all these things pop up after this whole problem. I never got stuck in masturbation for long, but it's something that happened once, then after some time it popped up again. Then at some point I learned about it. I'm like,
it's a thing.
It's a thing. But something in me, when it happened, it made me stay empty. And you know, as in ministry, so you're going to minister, you're feeling empty, divided, lost, and then you're praying, then you're... So I'm in that state of confusion, and then my name shines a lot at university. I'm a thing. You would be passing campus and people are in the compound, they are studying or they are on their laptops working, and you turn like this and you see your picture is on their desktop and you don't know who they are. And it's a girl, you know. And then sometimes you're walking at campus and a fellow student kneels down to greet you, you know, to greet you. And then they put money in your hands. Then they're inviting you for supper. Like, this whole hype was too much. Now, as it came, that's how it affected me. It affected my ministry, my fellowship with God was affected because I got lost in being praised. Now I felt the pain, the whole thing of being lost was now finding a place now. I began to feel special and important, but it's a special feeling which is deceptive. So there is someone who out there watching and they feel special, they feel talented, they feel but actually it's a hype, it's lustful, it's not a consecration. You don't understand the power you are enjoying. You don't realize that it is. Have you heard a proverb that says baja kuwanika oba bajjewa madala? Like, people can backward dollar, like praise you, and then after remove the ladder and then you fall. Now that saying, it's seeking to teach you that don't get so lost, don't get drunk of people's praises. There is a deeper way to live life that is above the praises of men. There is a place to be consecrated and overcome the cheers of men, and you actually go above them. You live through it, you learn that it doesn't add anything to you, and you're more interested in the consecrations of your heart, of your inner man, more importantly than the praise that comes with people. I was a password of people's computers. One time I wanted to print coursework, so I get some lady and I'm like, can I use your computer? I edit something, I print. Say, yeah, please. Say, kindly tell me the person. You know. I'm like, I've never used your computer. How can I know? She laughed. Then told me my name, like T. Ditas, then added the year of my birthday.
Pressure, pressure.
Then another time, there was a gentleman at university who had a room. Most of us used to pass by. Those of us who never used to stay on campus, we used to hang in his room during the day. So I'm in there reading. There's a pattern. I would be in there reading. There's this particular lady who used to come in when I'm in that room. And at some point I wanted to know. Then she actually told me, well, you've never noticed that I always come in there when you've never wondered why. I'm like, why? She's like, I have your timetable. I know your class timetable. So I know when you're free. I know when you're not free. Like, these things I don't know what you feel. So, but they literally made me feel, I've arrived. Like, the hunger you used to have in looking for God, in learning, studying, praying, begins to feel as if it's satisfied. Now, in there, so many mistakes happened. Now, there are things which people do and then they get born again, then they tell you that I've done things, I need God. But me, they happened in
God.
When I am saved, when I'm a Christian, when I'm in ministry. We are going for mission. You're seated with a sister next to you, okay? And the mission, we're going to a far place, like as far as Mutwapa, in Kenya, you're going to Bujumbura, and you're spending 2 days on the way. So at some point you're moving in the night. People get tired, people sleep. A lady sleeps on you and your hand is touching in places that are not touchable. You're down there, you're wet, you're a mess, you're confused. And on arrival, you're the one meant to preach first, you know.
Hallelujah.
and you're in that state. Now, in that state, an idea came to me. I'm like, if I chose one of these girls and dated her, it will help me be more focused. Because in me, there is that man that loves God, that wants, that knows, but this thing is not okay. This lifestyle is not okay. I need to be aligned. I need to be aligned. I need to be aligned. And so you're battling, and so you think the solution is unleashing the love on one. So I'm like, if I choose one of them and give my heart and mind and unleash, it will be okay. So among those who I was judging as they like me, they are around me, they want me, yet they are trying to learn. They have found another father like they had at home. That's the thing drawing them. I want to share with my fellow men and young men out there, don't take for granted the trust some of these ladies and girls have in you, especially church men and church boys. Let's not confuse our power, our anointing, our gifts, and we put blames on them. Our pillar is called your love, your marriage. We try at Affinity to focus our counsel to an individual. In other words, take responsibility of your life decisions and responsibility of your choices. Don't blame it on others. These people are around you because of what God has put on you, so that it can help them in one way or another. Do not misjudge them. And some of them may come with weaknesses. I actually even also had that part. There's a time when a sister wanted to rape me, you know. That's another story. There are those who, but they also, if you go through their story, they had a broken past. So this whole thing was confusing them. And I was there not being available, not being in the Sisarao. They had never seen a caring man who didn't want anything. So they said, what are you up to? So they pushed their way. So I don't want young men and my fellow men to confuse these sisters and ladies when they come around us. I learned it the hard way. I learned it the hard way. So I get this lady, and especially this one was more sober. She was organized. She was calm. You know, she felt the worthy one. And then we start a relationship. So we start a relationship. When we start a relationship, I want to tell you that I could say I wasted her time. I could say I confused her a lot. There was so much in me that was not okay. If you found her and she should tell you, Nagumira bingi, because as not a complete man. Because when she gets close, she sees you beyond what others see.
Others see, true.
She sees you beyond the top.
The glitter.
The glitter. She found a broken thing. But also because she was not ready, I think she could not easily tell that here. But you know the impact. When you're dealing with maturity, when you're dealing with a complete product, you enjoy it. When it's not complete, you feel chibulamu. Every time you're dealing with it, you feel like so much is lacking. So she dealt with that. But I think she couldn't define it. Maybe if she could, she would have run away early. But because she didn't know, she tried to be royal. Maybe she also grew up in a nice home, maybe they taught her royalty. So she tried to stay. She tried to stay in there. But I can tell you, I know she did not enjoy her life. But at some point, the cup always fills. She became full. And I think she knew, I think I can't stay in this. And I was royal. Yeah, I stayed. I insisted on marrying you. By the way, to shock you is the other one. Things at some point didn't go well. Then she tried to wonder, is this guy still there? Then now she found me committed here. And I was not willing to go because I had learned commitment. So I was committed. So I knew some principles, but some others were not okay.
Not yet.
Now, in that process, I can tell you, in wasting the time of this sister, I broke her, I hurt her. For example, I remember the last time when we were separating, I behaved so funny. When she told me, you know what, I think I can't continue with this. When she told me that, I said, what? She said, I can't continue with that. That thing, that broken me, that life identity crisis had issues. Do you know what I did? I began to think, if she goes away with my photos, she could even bewitch me. If she goes away with my gifts, she could even be funny. So we were in her room. I went. She had the place because first she was still studying and had finished. I went in. I went into her album. If we had taken a picture, I cut out myself.
Coach.
Indeed, you've walked the journey.
Now, you guys are beginning to stone me, but
we're not.
I'm telling you, like I was a mess. When you look back and you have learned what you've learned and God has dealt with you and you've gone to school and studied psychology and you get to understand what you are dealing with, you'd want to be ashamed of yourself, but then later you learn mercy, you learn grace.
Honestly speaking, what you're talking about, you're saying we're stoning you, but I believe even our viewers, even now, some of us who are married, we're still going. Personally, when I was growing up, it was a competition thing. My brother was always, he was the brilliant one. He's so clever. My mother would talk about, remember, I'd be like, is this a god? He knows what he's doing. He's in scripture. He was the lead of the youth. At school, he's the MVP in basketball. He was, my mother would always, but Yvonne, can't you don't you see Brian? So me, and then in P7, he got 6. And then my mother, that was the end. So in my head, I had to do better than Brian.
The more they lifted the other one, the more they crashed.
It was a competition. So in P7, I would read, but I'm thinking, Brian, here I come. All my life, I never felt my mother saw me. And my father is not an emotional man. So he never kind of tried to see it. For him, it was provide what he was doing, the man of those days, not the fathers of these days who are, chibubu, sugar, what? No. So my mother meant a lot because she was the emotional bit. And then my mother is very generous, is a sweet soul. So at some point, she had other adopted kids come in, and then all the attention, all of it shifted to those children. You can imagine VD would come. If there are 2 VDs, she would always go for the other person's VD, not mine. And then my father would come for this one, and my father would be, hey, I've come, yes, we go see your teacher, then I go. And I felt like that was not enough. So I felt I had, and I would do mischievous things. I would refuse to go to school because I wanted the attention. So in my whole life, it was a competition.
And people, do you know you can actually get into a love relationship and you actually begin to compete with your partner? That is
what happened.
Yes.
I got into my marriage. And then it was a competition. I had to compete with everything.
So you understand when I tell you I arrived when I had already gotten married?
True. I understand you perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, we try to put up a perfect face of my marriage is doing well, but in there,
yes,
we are dealing with things that come up as far back as your love.
Yes, exactly. The reason why Affinity needs to deal with your love experience, your childhood, and that journey, the brokenness, the confusion, the messes, being a victim of infatuation, hurting others and others hurting you, the impact it leaves on you, the healing. We need to deal with this whole, because some things we put on people are very old.
They are.
And I'm saying we need to take responsibility. That's when we get to become whole. So for me, that's how deep identity affected me. Now you think about it. Look at this girl who has walked with you a journey of 2 years. These are girls from good homes. They come from noble homes. They've trusted you. They even told their parents about you. Her parents knew me. I had visited their parents, you know. My parents knew her. Even when she's saying she's going away, there's a degree of trust. She has a place of dignity for you. Maybe she even thinks after 6 months I could come back. I want to rethink myself. But look, you're there behaving like this.
Like this.
You're in her room.
Man of God.
And you're a man of God. Yes.
And tomorrow you're
the one on the pulpit. And by the way, you get on the pulpit and they let me walk. And you're taking away the gifts that you gave her, you know. I left some property, okay, but some of them I picked. You know, you're there thinking, you have a problem. You're imagining the most awful things about people. This was somebody born again. You're saying she may bewitch me. What will the next boyfriend in her life, what will she do with my name?
In short, you're blaming her for whatever is transpiring. You're not looking at yourself.
You don't know that you're sick. And allow me to say this, when you're like this, please seek help. Please, people, seek help. It's actually not a good state to be in. That's why we're here. We have links down there. Check on that link. Seek help. Come for therapy. Come for counseling. Actually, people kill each other. Haven't you heard in the news? The boyfriend left and she killed. We have a story in Busheng. There's a radio presenter. This girl killed the boyfriend because of, you're leaving me. Leaving me how? If your boyfriend leaves you and you feel you want to kill him, your girlfriend leaves you and you feel she deserves to die, because that thing that I was doing, you're cutting pictures. What can you do to the person? You see? What do you think I left on her soul? You know? I just hope, because we've never sat again to talk, because we parted ways, I imagine she said this imbecile, and I just hope she has ever outgrown, she has ever forgiven me, she has ever let go. And also me, I've never found like ground to pursue, maybe seek peace, but I pray. But she used to be a jolly person. I just hope she outgrew and let go, you know. But I'm showing you how we can be incomplete. When we talk about self-awareness, you are not complete. And people don't see that that is a cancer. This is a real disease. It's in there, it eats your soul. If that thing was carried and made further, imagine you're a father of a child, you're heading a family, and that's what is in there. Those are the men who they bring food and it is burnt, and he kicks the whole table, and the food spills at the wife. Do you know a pastor in church was brought water? He was preaching here in Kampala, and he was given a bottle of water. And when it was placed on his podium, he's going to take the water, and the cover, the lid is not off. And as he holds it, he feels, why am I struggling with this lid? He gets it and throws it at his wife in the congregation.
What?
I'm telling you, a true experience. The wife was seated there, and everyone so in shock.
Wow.
From that day, the wife started to sit back. You see, something in there is not complete. If you may feel the love, you may feel that you're burning to love, but if you go in, your love is not ready. Yes, you have the experience of love. What people should know, it's not that God says, you're now ready, let me give you this. No. And that's why it's important not to lose time and cycles of life. Because, for example, if you are meant to learn 1 + 1 = 2 when you are in kindergarten, and now you are 30, you have missed so much. Because that means you've struggled with counting money, you've been cheated, you've not counted your properties, you don't know how to sum them up, so you've lost some things. So when you don't learn things in their time, you're most likely going to hurt. So we have people watching us who missed to be supported They ran in and thought that their love was ready. So God will give you the love when its time comes. So if you've not been prepared by the time this thing comes, you need to tame it. That's why you have to go through the journey of taming it as you learn. And as you learn, when you are ready, that's why he says, don't awake love until it so pleases. There is a reconciliation. This prepared man meets with an experience he has of God that is natural. Then these two connect and they come out with a beautiful thing. It's not that because a girl has seen her periods, that means that she can conceive. Should we now go and impregnate that girl? Just because she can? When a boy can see his sperms, should we let him now go and father a child? But the ability is in there, okay? But there is more. So there is a cancer that if we don't notice and seek healing for and walk a journey that enables us to come out, people in this world appreciate medical hospitals that treat the body. But they don't recognize the hospitals that should treat the soul. That should treat the soul. Then thereafter, even the spirit. You see? That's why we tell people therapy is a very important thing.
I am concerned. Moving forward, there is a part we haven't heard from you yet.
Yes.
When did you know that you are now supposed to awake love? Because after your brokenness, how do you get that awakening?
So after that story, I moved on, and of course, hit back. I hated myself again. I was always running. You separate from church, you change environment, like you're always running. Also, the other thing is people are always running. You're always running away from things. You live in this community, you feel like you want to leave and go to another environment. You're blaming people for whatever is going on with you. Even if you go to America, then go to Sinjiro, then after go to Arua, it's like Jonah. What you're running off from is within.
To always catch up.
It's in there. It didn't catch up. You're with it. It caught up long time. You need to heal it. And we encourage people like those, please seek therapy. Please seek therapy. Seek counseling. Go for counseling. Go for counseling. If you're not here with us, that's why we do, even when you're far, we are present to do online engagements. If you're near, we do the physical engagements. But wherever you are, there are some professional therapists. Find them and do a professional journey. Be helped. There is a place where people go to a hospital and they can't be treated, but that doesn't mean there is no treatment. Okay? Find the treatment. It's about your life. Someone is willing to go to hospital and treat a wound and spend 6 million, but they're not willing to spend some little bucks to heal their soul. Okay? And yet this is the same thing that is going to build them. They will destroy their home. They will hurt children because of that. So I move on and I'm lost. So I hide. I go into hibernation because I don't like me. But in that hibernation, I began to reconnect with God. In the story, the healing comes. I let go. I will get lost in God. But another thing, still that same problem, but now manifests in another way. I hate girls. I hate girls, I hate women. You also now have that category. They hate girls, they hate women, they think they are the problem, they are the reason for their pain. You don't want to date, you don't want to relate, you hate everyone. Don't tell me men, they are the same. You've heard that statement, all women are the same. Gendeli, all. So I now deal with that for some time. And while in there, a time came and I went into his state. I get an experience of that. Life at some point began. Yes, I enjoy God. Yes, I'm serving. But then I lose meaning. I feel I needed to come back to somebody. That experience that he talked about came to me. That thing happens to men. I also want to tell people it's not the validation. It's not the qualifier. That is another experience, just like the way you felt love, the way you get your body experiences, that's another experience men get. At some point, the scripture that says it's not good for a man to be alone comes true in your life. You sense you can't move on without somebody. That's also a natural experience that comes to people. It comes to men at 30, 35, 40. It can come at any stage, but one gets to it. But it is not what shows that you're ready for love. It's that one is one of those things that God has phased for you. Just like teeth grow, just like you grow beards, that thing is part of that journey. It is not the qualifier. And many of us marry because of that. But it's not the qualifier. That's why I also responded to that and found somebody. This is someone who cared for me, who, was available for me. And then I said I can settle with her. And then we got married. But if you asked her first 3-4 years of marriage, it was another
journey.
It was another journey. I wanted to say bad word. But you find the word that can represent the bad fire. Because when you say fire, those who are Christians here may say you're talking fire of the Holy Ghost. No, it wasn't. It was so bad. It was so bad. I remember one time I was in the car driving my mother. I was driving my mother and my father were driving from Kampala to the west. And I'm driving and I begin to unleash my pain. I'm telling them my pain, my anger. My dad loves to protect his children. When I was talking, I had been saying to my mother, I would call my mother. I told you we are now friends. My mother's like, Ditas, I'm tired of hearing your issues. What you claim your wife doesn't know, do it. And as you do, teach her, she will learn, you'll get along. She's your wife, you're not leaving her for anything. Me, don't come back to tell me again. From that day, my mother began to defend her. To today, I can't dare. At home, I don't eat well. She'll tell me go to the kitchen, do the food.
Shout out to the supportive mothers-in-law.
In love.
In love.
To cut the story short, I had to go through an experience. I did not treat my wife well. I did not respect her. I cheated on her with my mind, with my emotions, with my heart. I was still struggling with this idea of Yvonne still recognized me that meant so much. I was battling with something within me and continued to have problems because of that. And about that time, the story is another long one, but God took me, I went into an experience of self-searching. I got an experience that pointed to the problem. I got an experience that pointed to the problem. I saw the real problem. How did it come? I was hating myself and crying. Why am I doing this? Why am I like this? Why? And I needed answers. And I began to soul search. I began to seek counsel. I became vulnerable. I sought support. And I also prayed. I was willing to read because something in me told me always, all my life, this is not who you are. You can be better. I wanted an authentic life, inside out. I wanted an authentic life, inside out. And I entered the journey seeking that soul-searching process. And I discovered my problem. So there are people here who are being blamed for being angry. Their problem is not anger. There are people being blamed for being promiscuous. Their problem is not promiscuity. Even when they've slept with 20 women or slept with 100 men, their problem is not that. There are people considered fearful or with low esteem, but when the deeper issue is different. Like if you raise your children with fear, when you send them to do something and they mess up, they make a mistake, like they break a glass, you ask them what has happened, they will lie you. So if you beat them for lying, you're not solving the problem. The issue is the fear. So I discovered that I had an identity problem. I had a problem of not feeling enough. I was not complete in God. And I needed to know, wow, it was so relieving to know. And I began a journey of now completing that. the healing, because now I knew what I was dealing with. And it was amazing when I noticed, when the completion came, when that thing was complete, the things that meant so much, I don't know what happened to them. The other people who felt they were better than my wife, I don't know what happened to them. They dimmed. The praises dimmed. Like everything dimmed. And now number two that comes with that, your purpose makes a lot of sense to you. You understand a bigger reason to live life. You find something bigger to live for. That one of the ways you can know that you're ready to love is the deep assurance that is bigger than everything in you. To be more assured of something you should live for. And when you weigh anything about you, you find that purpose higher and better. You find that purpose higher and better. If you talk about your pride, you find this thing better. You're willing to lay down your pride, lay down any crown. You're willing to lay down your anger. You're willing to, even if you're being abused, you're willing. Now, I'm one of those people right now who anybody can hit, whichever way they are going to hit, it won't reach my heart. You can believe, but it won't reach me. There is something bigger than my name. That's why when I'm sharing these things, I realize I'm small. There is something bigger than me. My life can only be privileged to contribute to that journey. When you come from that place, and I mean everything, because remember, I've been gifted, I've been there. So don't just think, I know my purpose, but yet at some point, it's your name that is important then. When you get in there, that picture you get, you find that it defines how you're supposed to live every day. It defines how you're supposed to talk, who you're supposed to talk to. If you say a partner, I need a partner in life, it is the one that defines, because you feel it's bigger than everything. When they say your opinion about who to marry, you feel you don't know enough. You've messed up enough for you. You don't find strength in yourself. You find that I'm seeing should tell me who, how should they be, how should they look like, what shape, what color, what level of education, where do they pray from, what do they believe. It's weighed against that bigger purpose, that bigger mandate. You're raising children, you're asking how. They must, in a way, be aligned to the, and you know how the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. When you say that way, which is that way, you must see that way. Must see the way first. So no one should become a father before they can see the way. Can you see the way and then train your children according to that way? Can you see the many wives who are crying in marriages? They are following men who don't have the way of marriage. They don't have something bigger. And so when that thing comes, it prescribes every detail. When you're in that marriage and your wife doesn't feel happy about things, you realize that as if you don't respond the right way according to bigger purpose, it's as if you're going to be held accountable by a bigger power. So you sense you have someone more accountable than this wife you're leading. You're accountable to someone than these children you're fathering. The way you're dealing with your in-laws, there are people who are at war with their in-laws. What is prescribing your war? What determines how you should talk to them, how you should deal with them? So this thing prescribes things. And you're able to now know that I have something bigger than me that I serve. And that's something I want to call purpose. When purpose is very clear to you, not a fuzzy picture. How do you know purpose? You see yourself in that vision. It's not a void image. It's an image where you're an active participant. You also weighed in it. You can see your weight in the purpose. There are people who say, me, I'm a musician, I'm a worshiper, that's me. But they don't see the consecration. They don't see how that thing is weighing them. Yeah, how it weighs your heart, your thoughts, your way of talking to people, how it deals with the timeliness. Like when we are coming here to do the show, what time do I come? Purpose is weighing me. It weighs my behavior, how I treat people. The people we are addressing right now. Right now, I'm conscious of the time we've kept them. You see, I'm being weighed. And I feel like when I go, I have to give accountability. Something is bigger. I want to warn people, especially ladies, be careful following a man who doesn't have any power above them. Because you'll be abused. Because those who have something bigger than them, holding them accountable, will prescribe to them how they should treat you. Even you, when you're following them, it's that thing. I usually say this funny statement. I usually always tell ladies, my sister, don't marry a man, marry their purpose. And that can be a conversation of another day. What do you mean? Because when you are attracted to their purpose, you will also never fight them when they are serving that purpose, because it's what attracted you. Because we also have people who, I want my husband to go and do business. There are others saying, business takes people. I want him home. Others, I want a celeb. Others, I don't want a celebrity. And when you marry a celeb, then you're fighting. You were attracted to him because he was all over, but now you want him for yourself. But he was already, you could see. So that struggle. So when is it okay to unleash love? When you have fully understood who you are, why you're here, whose you are, and there's that to the depth, and you can reconcile that to your everything about you. This thing which many waters can't quench. Like even you go to hell, the Bible says that many fires are not enough. That thing, it needs to be in the context of purpose. Purpose is a thing upon that has power to tame love, to guide love, to give it every prescription. When you can find your purpose, and with its weights and details of consecrations, you're ready to unleash love. If you can't do that, you know you're going to abuse the people you're bringing into your story. God is my witness, my wife is my witness. After that season, she has lived a bliss. Her future is clear. Her journey is so clear. Because even when you remember, I said I moved in before I knew. So even if you're there, seek help. Many people struggle with that question of purpose. Seek help. People, soul issues, spiritual issues are serious, and seek counsel. Seek counsel, seek therapy, seek professional therapy, seek spiritual counsel. Request for counseling opportunities and be supported. Have somebody to work with you. You will arrive and you will enjoy the beauty of love.
Wow, 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 wow. We have to go, and we don't want to go because we have just tackled a nutshell of many of the questions that we wanted to actually tackle today. But if you're out there and you're wondering why you are always hurting the ones you're with, I've learned broken people hurt people. And next time, I think we are going to learn, how do I identify myself, who I am? How do I find the purpose that how do I find my purpose? Because while you're talking about it, I started questioning, did my wife really marry my purpose, or she married me, the man?
And that thing always weighs you, by the way. When you love a person and not their purpose, that thing has to weigh you. You're always weighed against it. When I say weigh, I mean you get challenges that check. You're checked. What exactly you married. At some point in your marriage, you get an experience that questions, are we going to pursue, like the lady, are you going to pursue this man's purpose, or are you going to pursue him? Because whatever you do, one day this man has to pursue purpose, not you. Men are not inclined to their women. We are always inclined to our purposes. And so we will pursue purpose better than we pursue you.
So let me ask. So the reason, in short, from what you've just said, the reason why you would pursue this woman is because she aligns with this purpose.
Come for the next week, Affinity.
Come for the next week, Affinity. Ladies and gentlemen, we're excited that we are closing this, but we're also excited that we will have another next week. Please hit that subscribe button. You're going to be helped.
Yeah.
You're going to be helped. This is the exact help.
Yeah.
And talk to us in the comment section. Always tell us exactly what you're thinking, what you think we should tackle, what answer questions do you have, what answers are you looking for. Our job here is to help you and give you answers and give you direction.
Together.
Like I told you, we have a GPS of love right here, and we most of the times have him almost every Sunday. Please come and enjoy this direction. Once again, I am your host Hudson and
Yvonne.
And with us we have our GPS of love.
We are always a work in progress, but yes, the Lord, God works in us all.
Yeah,
but I'm Ditas, and our vision bearer of Affinity. We are happy to always have you.